How's it going? Welcome to Potter's Pod, the official Stoke City podcast. My name is Rob, I am the host, and on this episode, we have Stoke City goalkeeper, Frank Friedel. First things first, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. We always seem to start this by saying to people, do you listen to many podcasts? Are you a podcast fan?
I am. I like the overlap. It's probably your next question. Are you going to ask me what I listen to? The Rest in Politics.
Rest is Politics, nice.
Yeah,
okay. With
like
Alistair Campbell.
Yeah. It is Alistair Campbell, good knowledge. And I listen to the American version of that as well.
Yeah,
so I like to know what's going on.
The Mooch.
The Mooch, yeah. A bit of a cliche one. I do like Joe Rogan, but I'm slightly going off him at the minute. What else would I listen to? If I got my phone up,
the rest is obviously I'm not in a position to point people to other podcasts.
Yeah,
but they're obviously not a competitor to this in any way. The rest is classified, so the rest is football. The rest is politics.
Oh, did they do that?
They do another one which is about spies. It's called The Rest is Classified.
Oh,
it's fairly new and it's very good.
Oh, I've listened to a thing. Sorry, I've just had a what's the word? A light bulb moment. I've been listening to a podcast called The Kill List at the minute as well, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, no. The reason why I ask this is because I like to get an understanding of how much people get into podcasts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you listen to many podcasts, it kind of sets you up for this conversation.
Okay.
So we're in good hands.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
Kind of.
We're not really meant to mention the overlap though, because they were up for an award, the same one as this one was.
Okay.
So we
don't listen to that?
No, we don't listen to that one.
No.
Instead, you listen to Potter's Pod, don't you?
Yeah, of course I do.
That's what this one's called.
Yeah, Potter's Pod. Absolutely. Vote for Potter's Pod.
Right. We always start with talking about podcasts, and then we usually go right back to childhood.
Okay.
Can you tell me about your childhood?
Childhood. From Blackburn, originally. Good childhood. I had 2 older brothers, an older sister, was well looked after by them. A very passionate Blackburn Rovers family growing up, and obviously ended up going there as a kid in the academy, which was like a dream come true obviously at the time, and just kind of found my way playing football that way with I had 2 older brothers who chucked me in goal. A bit of a side story, but my dad moved to Malaysia when I was 11 or 12, I can't remember. So I had unbelievable summers. So I'd spend all the 6 weeks holiday out in Kuala Lumpur with him, which was really good. That was a big part of my life, growing up.
That must have opened you up for so many experiences, because I can't imagine there were many people in your position in Blackburn that were going over to Kuala Lumpur for 6 weeks every year. Yeah,
I even did my work experience there. So I ended up doing nearly 2 months at one point. It was unbelievable. I remember the first time me and my brother went, and I didn't even have a clue where it was on a map. Just excited. It was, a really, really cool part of growing up.
So did you fly over just you and your brother then?
The first time I did, yeah.
How old was you then?
I was 11 or 12, I can't remember. So my dad went and set a business up out there for one of his customers, and then ended up staying there. I must have been 11 or 12. So basically, I remember as clear as day. We both went, and we got chaperoned through the airport, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then he was waiting at the other end for us. So it was 13 hours on a plane, which was like some going. But we got used to it, and we did it quite a lot.
So that was a lot of the summers were spent doing that. But obviously, being having 2 older brothers, football obviously played a massive part.
Yeah, I know it's just cliche, but it was just any spare 5 minutes that we got, we were just playing football, all three of us together. So, and then as I was growing up, Blackburn Stadium started to get redeveloped, and we didn't live that far from it was a bike ride away, and we'd go up on the bikes, and then there's a big hill overlooking it, and we'd go up and every couple of weeks we'd go up so we could just see what else was how far it had come on the construction and stuff. So that's quite a big thing that I remember growing up.
What were you like at school?
Bang average, below average, but tried hard. So I was all in. My dad sent us to a school that you had to pay for. So, and I realised, you know, like, it was an expensive place to go to, so I was all in, so, like, I just tried my best.
That was Queggs, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So I went there, and I think he just wanted us to go for the sport. Just got to, I've never played cricket before, and ended up really liking it. Ended up playing for the school cricket team. You know, just things like that, opportunities I probably wouldn't have had, that he thought I probably wouldn't have had going to a normal school, so... And I knew that, you know, he was living far away, and him and my mum decided that was, you know, that's what they wanted to do. And I was just all in. I mean, I got bang average results at GCSE, but I probably wouldn't have done as well if I'd have gone to a normal school. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds like you were quite conscious of the fact that the people that you were with, you obviously, you knew how much it was costing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that from your background, you just were more aware of the fact that this was costing a decent amount of money and therefore...
I think so. And like, yeah, definitely. That, now you've said that, definitely. But I also saw the other side of it, of kids who went there from a different background to myself and weren't trying as hard. And I don't know, I was really conscious of it.
It's like working class mindset in a place that's not necessarily working class.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a bit bizarre, innit? Because, like, it had, listen, it was a private school, like, but it had every walk of life there. So it had, like, kids whose grandparents paid for them to go there, or, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I just was really conscious that I wanted to make the most of the opportunity. Yeah, that's all. That's it, really. Looking back now, reflecting on my time there, like, I'm really grateful for what probably didn't appreciate it at the time. I did appreciate it at the time, but I understand why they did it now, like, more than ever.
You were quite good at sport. I've been going through some old newspapers.
Okay.
The Lancashire Telegraph, summer 2002, Frank Fielding of Queggs was a triple winner in the Year 9 age group after winning the 100 metres, 200 metres of times of 12 seconds, 0.29 and 25.34, and also the long jump, 5.24 leap.
Wow, you've done your research, haven't you? Yeah, I mean, I used to win Blackburn and Darwen 100 and 200, I think, all the way through. Yeah.
You don't expect that from a goalkeeper, though, do you?
I don't know, really.
100 metres.
I mean, like,
that's what surprised me.
Oh, really?
As obviously, not to surprise you, but I've never played professional football.
Okay.
Don't laugh.
But it doesn't matter, does it?
No, okay.
No, I don't know. I probably just tried, like, again, like, another opportunity that I got there that I necessarily wouldn't have had somewhere else, and just, like, found that I could run rather quick than the other kids at that age. But yeah, I don't know. I ended up competing for Blackburn and Darwen in the Lancashire Region Trials or whatever it was, which was at Blackpool at Stanley Park. And I remember going and finishing third overall, but in my heat in the first race, I didn't even know how to stand properly, you know, like for the 100 metre. And these kids came with the...
Spikes?
Yeah, no, I had spikes.
Yeah, okay.
But I didn't... You know, like the things that they push off?
Yes, yeah.
I didn't have them. And all these kids that turned up that day for the Lancashire Regional, I don't know, championships or whatever, had the push-off things. And I was the only kid who didn't. But I ended up finishing third overall in that. But I can't remember what year that was. I think it was maybe fourth year. Yeah. So if you won, like, the Blackburn and Darwen thing, then you could go and compete for the best in Lancashire, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Hoddleston Hotspur?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
So that was basically when you were growing up, that was the team you used to play for?
Yeah, so went to Cubs near Darwen, which was near the primary school that I went to. And yeah, one of the kids' dads run a football team. And yeah, so that was like the first taste of football, like organised football.
What were they like? Was it good times?
I only did a year.
Were you the standout player? Sorry to interrupt.
No. I played outfield. I played outfield for them. No, I wasn't the standout player at all. My brother was the standout player from probably about the age of 8 to like 14, 15. No, I wasn't at all. And I played a year above, maybe because of that as well. But no, yeah, just got good memories there.
And Blackburn soon came across.
Yeah. I went to a birthday party and the under-9s had just started, which was a school of excellence then. And I just went in goal because I was obviously like always chucked in. My 3 brothers, older brothers, we used to always have turns in goal, but I ended up spending more time in goal than their turn, probably, whatever. And then went in goal at this party and someone spotted me. And then I went and played a couple of games, and then I ended up staying there for like a good chunk of time.
What do you remember about your early days there? We hear a lot about like the community of what it's like to be a YTS at the time, and about what it was like to be in with just another group of lads that were all the same age, and there must have been interesting times.
It was. So like Blackburn still do, have like a house on site. And doesn't matter where you live, like you go and live there, which was really good. But like the whole that I don't know, like reflecting on it now, like the amount of people and like good things I can say about Blackburn Academy is like, I don't know, just people that influence in different things. So like not necessarily when I went full time at 16 and left school. Like I had a coach called Pete Devine, who was my under 12 coach, unbelievable. Like. And Sean Kimberley was like the academy manager when I got a little bit older, and he would do the under 16s and just good memories and like little things that you remember that just you've got you to that that along that journey, I suppose.
What do you remember about the players you were with?
Like younger or older?
Younger.
We'll
get to older in a second.
So I remember Joe Garner turning up as an 11-year-old out of his mum's silver Mazda and thinking, who's this kid? And by the end of the training session, thinking, oh my God, like, what a player. Just really good memories. I had a mate of mine growing up called Chris Nuttall. And when my dad was back from Malaysia for like Christmas time, my dad really socialised with his dad quite a lot. So we'd go and play golf with his dad. Just really good, like really happy, good memories, you know what I mean? And then we'd go to watch the Blackburn games and they'd meet at this pub called the Manxman, which overlooks Blackburn's ground. And just really good times. Just like, I don't know, just watching football and playing, messing around outside while they're having a pint. It was just, I don't know, typical stuff, but good stuff.
I've spoken to a few of your former teammates from that time. One sent a message.
Really?
Am I right to play you this?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Let's hope you remember them now, because otherwise this will be really awkward,
No,
won't it?
I will.
Okay, here we go. So this is the first one. I'm just going to play it to you now, and then here we go.
G-Stop here, aka Stowe. Been asked to do a little message for you from your past. Just like to say that you've had a great career, pal. I'd like to say that I never thought you'd get this far, but you're always a decent keeper, to be fair. One of the boys. And it was at Blackburn when we met, where we coined the term Fun-time Frankie. And I bet you've been on TV many times, but I remember the first time you were on TV. It involved a certain dare, a Sky Sports News camera, and a dance. So I'll let Rob tell you that one, or remind you. Anyway, Frankie, nice. Hope you're doing well, mate, and maybe see you sometime. Hope you caught the game the other week.
Yeah, Dingle. Gary Stockford, what a guy. Duracell bunny.
So you played with him at Blackburn?
Yeah, but so like, I played with him at Blackburn. He was recently still playing for Clitheroe, which if we're off, I'll go and watch him, which is like the next village from where I'm from. And he's still a really good player, like he's still playing, which at a really decent level, but funny lad him. That's mad that you've done that. So get back to the story. So Graham Souness was the manager when we went full time, and you can imagine like, the TV cameras and whatnot, like scattered around the training ground. So they've all gone like, no one's going to get on TV, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. And I go, I will. It's like, stupid 16-year-old kid I was. So I remember getting to the roundabout and I could see the camera in the distance, and they're all at the window at the training ground, and I'm thinking, I'm bottling out here. And then Jay McKevley, so he's turned up at the roundabout. He goes, what are you doing, lad? And I'm like, I'm just trying to get like on the telly and that. And he goes, go on then. So he drove off. So I've just gone onto the camera. The geezer's talking about Graham Souness like getting a Newcastle job. and who's coming in or whatever, and I've just gone on the camera like that, and then ran back into the training ground, and then got the repercussions afterwards, because obviously everyone's eyes are hooked onto the TV. All the lads are laughing, and didn't go too down with the staff.
What did they say to you?
Just don't do that again, pretty much. Like, when someone sits you down and it's like they're trying not to laugh and be serious, and you're a 16-year-old kid and you're like, is he mad or not? So I don't know, a bit of character in it, I don't know.
So the nickname Fun-time Frankie
came from that. Yeah.
Do you think it's one of those things where they didn't want to tell you off because they could see you were a good lad, but you just like to have a bit of a laugh?
Yeah, I think they knew I were a bit daft and whatnot. I don't know.
Where do you think that comes from? Like that kind of idea. Showmanship?
I have not. Maybe it's an insecurity. I don't know. Probably not looked enough into it, but I don't know. Just I don't like awkward silences. Don't like silence. So sometimes I'll just be in a room or whatever, and it's a bit awkward. So I'll just say something because I just don't like silence. But I don't know where it's come from.
I spoke to a couple of other people that you played with around that time as well.
Okay.
And one of them said, if I say this to you, it sounds quite offensive, but you won't be offended by it.
Yeah.
He says that you would be the first to admit you were never the standout player.
Yeah.
But you were always the one that worked hard. You're not going to be affected. First of all, check you're not offended by that.
No, definitely not.
That's fine. That's okay. Because when he said it to me, I said, it's Joe Anion, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Amazing.
He said, say hello.
Oh, nice.
And
one.
I thought to myself, if I say that to him, he's going to think I was saying he wasn't very good.
No, not at all. I think just perseverance. So like, from like under 12s where I probably first met Joe, everything was set, like going well, playing well or whatever. And then, I don't know, like, what, academy development, you like kind of hit a brick wall or whatever. And then probably didn't develop the way I wanted to. But never stopped believing and stopped, that perseverance, or I don't know. Like when someone says you can't do something, like I don't know what the word is. Especially back then, like I not in an arrogant way, but in the back of my head I'd be like, why?
Just to prove people wrong.
Yeah, but not in an aggressive way, or I was nearly going to swear then, but like, I don't know.
Do you think that could come from going to the school that you had to pay for?
No, not really. Like, I don't really know. I'm trying to find out the right phrase of saying it, but no, like when I got given my scholarship at 16, I was the last person in that age group to get it, and they probably just thought he'd probably get released in 3 years' time or whatever, but we need a keeper and he's there. And probably for the first 6 months, that was the way it was going to go. Like, I didn't play a game in that first 6 months. And then, like I said before, like, you meet certain people on your journey, don't you? And someone takes a shine to you or whatever happens. And I met the right person at the right time. Like, you can believe in fate or whatever. And this goalie coach that came in with Mark Hughes after Souness went, took a liking to me, was training me one-on-one twice a week, took me under his wing, like, treated me like his child, basically, you know what I mean? Yeah. And, like, I did a podcast a few weeks ago and I mentioned him. I haven't spoken to him for years. But, like, there's other people on that journey as well. Like, and I don't know, just, when, I remember Michael Carrick doing an interview years ago and he said, when he was still playing, and he said something like, when you're not playing well or you're having a bad spell in your career, like why does the press or local press or whoever, national press, like say, oh, he's over the hill or he needs to go now? Why are you not allowed to just get your head down and carry on and see what happens? And like, I probably had a bit of that in me now. Like, I've had some really, rough times, like, in your career. Like, if you can have a career from, in football, you have worse times than good times, I suppose. But never tried to I always knew that, like, the next training session or the next game, like, things could change like that.
It's like an optimistic outlook.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's come from the area where I'm from. Like without being disrespectful to Blackburn, like, I'm really, like, I love Blackburn, like, that's where I'm from. And I don't know, things are not easy in Blackburn, but it's produced loads of footballers for such a small place. Like, I could list them. And I don't know if they've all had that, like,
instilled
grit or whatever, I don't know.
I'm
clutching at straws here, aren't I?
No, you're right, you're okay. The reason why I'm talking about this is because every time we speak to anyone on these podcasts, when we talk about the people in the dressing room, the first name they always say is you. So they'll say he's the heart of everything, he's the heart and soul of it, he's the first one to get people up and going. So I'm trying to kind of build this picture of how you've got to the point that we are here at Stoke, which we'll come on to later on. So I'm really interested in, like, your childhood and how you got to this point, because it all feeds into where you are now.
It's like therapy, this.
So that it is going somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sorry, all right, no worries.
Obviously, we're going to have to talk about your time at Blackburn. You went off on to loan to quite a few different other clubs, which we'll come on to in a sec.
Yeah.
But when you were coming through, obviously, Brad Friedel was the number one goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Having him as someone to look up to must have been mind-blowing.
Yeah, like, we left school at 16 and you go straight training with him was, like, I've been watching him for 3 years previous.
As a Blackburn fan?
As a Blackburn fan, I'm just, like, everything he did, the way he did the gym, yoga, which was unheard of back then. He was doing it before everybody else. The way he trained every day, the way he played in games, just the way he conducted himself was just an unbelievable person to look up to. And he took a shine to me as well. I mean, he was so generous. He'd pass me his goalie gloves, boots, or whatever he had. He would always pass it on, and like, when you're on scholar wage or whatever, them little things help. And I was absolutely gutted when he left, but just he set the tone straight away as a 16-year-old. This is how you train. This is how you conduct yourself. This is how you look after yourself. Watch what you put into your body. Not that he was, like, perfect. He liked his downtime. He always talked about, like, when the season finished, he was always go to Las Vegas. Being an American, he'd go and have a blowout for a week or whatever. So yeah, he was just a great guy to learn off.
That's the second time you've said they took a shine to me. What do you think it was about you as a teenager that everyone was endeared to?
A bit cheeky, a bit naughty. I don't know. Had a bit, like, a bit of a character maybe. I'd say things and they'd be like, you can't say that. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but...
And then after he left,
yes,
some other England goalkeeper came in.
We had one unbelievable goalkeeper replaced by another unbelievable goalkeeper. Completely different characters, but still outstanding, you know what I mean? And got a good few years out of him. I think some of his best football was played. Yeah. Many people probably thought he was over it at that point, but I think he had 3 or 4 really, really good years for Blackburn after that, when Brad left.
Yeah, Paul Robinson,
yeah.
What was he like as a person?
Yeah, different.
Because people listen to this, I appreciate that there's going to be younger people listening to this that might not know, this makes me feel very old, might not know Brad Friedel or Paul Robinson. Yeah. But Paul Robinson was the England goalkeeper for many years.
50-odd caps for England, hadn't he?
And then Brad Friedel was like a legendary American. He's like one of the first real, in my, similar age to you, generation that came across that was American. You knew he was American.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There weren't that many players like that, were there?
No, he probably set the tone for the Americans that have probably come over, hadn't they? I think there was Casey Keller before him.
Yeah.
And then Tim Howard after him.
Yeah.
Brad Gazan as well. So, sorry, what's the question again?
It was a case of what was Paul Robinson like?
Paul Robinson, just different to Brad, but he worked hard.
Do you keep in touch?
No, not at all.
Because he sent a message as well.
Has he?
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. Has he really?
Yeah. 2 seconds.
How have you done all this? This is tremendous.
Here we go.
Frankie, how are you, pal? It's your second favourite ever Blackburn Rovers goalie.
Yeah.
It's Robo. Apparently the budget won't stretch far enough to get your favourite, Brad Friedel. So they've had to make do with me sending you a message. Mate, hope you're well. You and Brad, you and Harry used to love him.
Yeah.
His boots were always sparkling, apparently. Didn't have a bad group of goalies there at Blackburn at that time, did we, all that time ago? Brad, then me, you, David Raya, mind you, worst boot boys in the world. And by the way, I saw a picture the other day. Where's all that hair come from, Frank? Mate, you look about 10 years younger now than you did when you were 18.
Yeah.
Good to see that you're still doing well, mate. Time to go to Saudi and get that big payday, though, to finish off. One of the lads you're doing the podcast with, mate, is a good friend of one of my mates. Get him to get you my number, drop me a text, and if you ever play again, mate, I'll come and see you. Take care.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're mates with his friend?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Grand. You've done, I'm really impressed with this. This is awesome.
So once you've never actually played for Blackburn.
No.
That must have been a bit of a, we'll talk about loans in a second, but that must have been a bit of a stinger being a Blackburn for so long, but also being a Blackburn fan.
I never saw it like that
Did you
at
not?
all. No. It was no... I didn't leave the club thinking that at all. It was obviously something I always wanted to do, but I never left thinking, oh, what could have been. I was just like, what's the next part of the journey now, or where am I going next? You know what I mean?
Just like a proper optimistic outlook on life. You might not feel it, but I think people listen to this. It's like everything. You don't say, "Oh, that wasn't very good" or anything like that. It's just like this happened and it worked well. It worked out. It's like you always look for something. In the short time that we've been speaking, I'm sure people listening to this will agree.
Yeah.
In the short time that we've been speaking, it's always about the positives or what the good thing can be. Objectively.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I can be negative at times. Like, I'm not perfect, but I can find a positive in most things. I don't know. It's interesting you say that. Yeah, I don't really know how to answer that. It just comes naturally, I suppose.
Should we talk about your debut?
League debut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the story? What
What
happened before kick-off?
Yeah. So I had a trial on the pitch.
Wait,
Sorry,
you
yeah.
skipped over that quite.
Yeah, I'm quite sorry.
So you went on loan to Wycombe. You were
Yeah.
playing away at Bradford in
Yeah.
front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
At 1:30, not to steal your story, by the way, at 1:30, you were taken by one of the goalkeeping coaches and they performed a trial to find out whether you were going to play in the match an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
You appreciate.
I was just ready to do
yeah,
it. You know,
okay.
like, didn't see it as a big thing. It's only now, reflecting on it, it's like, wow, that probably wouldn't happen again. But I was ready. Like, I was in the reserves at Blackburn, and a few of the older lads had been on loan at different places. Stockport. Tony Kane went to Stockport. Hodgie went to Mansfield, and then Millwall. So it was like we were in competition with one another. So it was like, who's next? You know, like, who's next out of this reserve team to go and play league football or whatever? And like, say Tony Kane went to Stockport, his dad would be over for the weekend, can't drive, so I'll drive him. I'll take him to the game. Because I was intrigued to see how well Tony would do and like investing in his career. You know, been a teammate for him for 3 years. So it was probably like I was ready for it, if that makes sense. I just wanted to play that. You know, like I just dreamt about playing in front of people. It's all I've ever wanted to do. So I was just ready for it. You know what I mean? Like I was just driven.
Clean sheet as well.
Clean sheet against Bradford, yeah. Really, like what dreams are made of, I suppose. So no one can ever take that away from you, can they? So, yeah, I'm really grateful that we won. And it was probably only realised later, I think, I found out that, like, Paul Lambert, who was the manager at Wycombe at the time, was, like, in limbo at that point. Both his first-team goalkeepers get injured within a space of, like, 6 days. He needs two goalkeepers because he hadn't even got one for the bench. Turn up on Friday evening at Bradford, and I think he was like, I'm gonna have to get 2 kids to play in goal here, kind of thing. Fortunately for him and me, it worked out. I mean, he's gonna be a manager in the Premier League, hasn't he? And had a great, managerial career, and I've managed to string a career together. You know what I mean? So since then, But it's only years ago that I found out that he was like at limbo that day. He was thinking about, it can't get any worse, but it ended up being a good season.
You don't have to talk about this now, of course, but that obviously was a very good time for you, getting that clean sheet and making your debut, but that period of time was a very difficult time for you personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I lost my dad, yeah. just got the phone call when I was at Wycombe early December, and my cousin husband knocked at the door of the flat where I was staying and just said that my dad had an heart attack, and then I replied to, "Is he dead?" And Paul said, "Yeah, he's dead." And then I went. That was like in the middle of the night, so it was FA Cup weekend, and we'd been knocked out by Swindon, so we didn't have a game that weekend. So I was. We had Saturday off at Wycombe, so I went home up north to see my girlfriend at the time and my mum. And I was actually texting my dad that day, and Blackburn were playing Newcastle in the FA Cup.
He was away at this point.
Say again, sorry.
He was away at this point.
He was away in Malaysia, yeah. Sorry, it was Saturday, and Blackburn were playing Newcastle in the FA Cup, and Matt Derbyshire scored, I remember that. And I was texting him. He was watching it in Malaysia, but with the satellite delay back then or whatever, he'd always get the goals a couple of minutes later. So I just said, "Oh, Matt Derbyshire scored," or whatever, which is really bizarre. And then Saturday evening, I went back to Wycombe, and we were training on Sunday because we had a game against Hereford on the Tuesday, and then obviously gone to bed that night, and then trained on the Sunday. Really bizarrely, ended up having dinner with Matt Bloomfield at his house in Reading, because I wasn't usually down on a Sunday and stuff. And then had dinner, went back to Wycombe because he lived in Reading. I drove back to Wycombe later on that evening, getting ready for training on Monday, gone to sleep, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and just got the knock on the door in the middle of the night. Checked my phone was on silent, and my mum had been ringing me for a few hours. She'd got the news and whatnot, and then just ended up going to my cousin's, and then ended up getting driven home and having to deal with that.
At that age as well?
19, yeah.
That must have been difficult.
It was difficult, but it was difficult because of the shock, because no one was expecting it.
Yeah. He'd not been ill for a long time or anything like that?
No, never been ill, just had a heart attack and died, bless him. So, he got found in his flat. My mum had been texting me during the day on that Sunday while I was at Matt's, saying my dad used to ring on a Sunday because of the time difference, the 7 hours or the 8 hours it was, depending on winter or summer or whatever. He'd always ring on a Sunday. I mean, it's expensive. It wasn't like freely available to ring on WhatsApp or whatever like it is now, but I just remember he always used to ring the house at like 4 o'clock on a Sunday, and we'd all have like 20, 30 minutes with him. He's having to catch up on the week. My brother as well, and my mum. And then I remember texting him at training in the morning, because we'd always exchange a message in the morning. And I remember texting him in the morning just saying, "Oh, look, Dad, I won't be
around.
I won't be at home like today. I've got a game Tuesday and we're training today, but I'll catch you next week," or whatever. I can't remember now. And then that happened.
Did he not get to see you play as well?
Nah, he never saw me play, no. Not professionally. The last game that my dad saw me play was for Leeds Reserves. So at the end of my second year, I was going to go on loan to Leeds to be the sub-goalkeeper. They're in League One then. So I went and played a couple of games for Leeds, and my dad was home in the April because my nan had died. So his mum had died, so he came home, and I went and played on Ellen Road against Notts Forest. That was the last game my dad saw me play.
I'm going to have to correct you. Nottingham Forest, sorry. I know you're an avid fan.
So yeah, that was the last game my dad had watched me play. So he never saw me play professionally, no.
That must have been... Was that a particularly difficult thing to take, or...?
No, not really. Like, been a good while now. You can... I don't know. I haven't spoke about it for years, to be fair. But, time's a healer, innit? You can move, like, it sounds awful and whatnot. You have to move on, don't you? And live your life, I suppose.
Thank you for talking about that. I know it must be difficult.
It's to be honest, it's like therapy, this. I've said it again, but it's it's a bit, it's not a sensitive subject, it's just time's a healer, I suppose, isn't it?
not go through all your loan spells.
Yeah, loads of them.
See how sensitive I was with that?
Yeah, nice one, thank you.
There's one player I do want to talk about. When you're on loan at Northampton, there's a player that everyone listening to this podcast, I imagine, will know that stood out.
Kyle Walker. Yeah, just clear as day. I remember, I think I even, came into the car park at the same time as he was arriving. Had no idea who he was. I did pretty much, within a week, thought, oh my God, it's the best football player I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, he did. I don't even think he did the month that he was there. He was unbelievable. We beat little old Northampton, which no disrespect to Northampton Town fans. We beat Leeds at home. And they went up that year. We had some really we drew with Leicester, 0-0 at Leicester. In the 3 months that I was there. Yeah, we just overachieved. And it was just a brilliant place to play football. Stuart Gray was the manager. And he just seemed to get all the best. He just knew the market for the loans. And obviously, he rocked up with his mum and dad. And he lasted a month and he went back and he was playing for Sheffield United.
But did he win the 100 metres like you did?
Nah, he didn't.
He wasn't in the Lancashire Telegraph, was he?
He probably won the Yorkshire one. But nah.
We don't know that, though, do we?
We don't know for a fact.
Sorry,
Carl, you're listening. But no,
the car park's big enough for the Bet365.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You're more than welcome here, bud. No, yeah. So, yeah, he stood out straight away.
Yeah. The next club that you signed for full-time was a club called Derby County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all right saying that?
Yeah. I'm okay. Stuck in the throat a little bit, it's okay. So that was Nigel Clough.
Yeah.
There would have been some big names when you signed for them.
There was some big names there.
And you would have been reunited with the former Blackburn.
I was. Mr. Lily Savage. Yeah. Robbie Savage. Yeah, what a character.
I've not got a voice note from him.
No, thank God.
I did message you, but he didn't reply.
Oh, well, okay. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, so he must have been a bit weird for him because he was coming to the end of his career and I was just starting. And obviously he'd have seen me walk out the digs at the training ground and he was just a lovable rogue. The
reason why I talk about him in particular, because there are other players to talk about, is because I've met him a few times and his personality is he can be quite larger than life. Yeah. And I think he'd be the first person to say he likes to be the centre of attention. Now, I'm not saying that you like to be the centre of attention, but you are larger than life yourself. Because you could imagine a world where those personalities clash quite a bit.
No, we never clashed.
No, but you can imagine that though, do you know what I mean?
I remember him coming up to me that day so when my dad died on the Monday, just for instance, he's an unbelievable human being. He was the first person that came and gave me a hug. He found out, and you know what I mean? When I walked into the training ground, come and give me a hug. He's not like what people think he is at all. Don't get me wrong, he has his moments. I remember just a weird story that I remember. So we're all waiting to go into Mark Hughes' office as
this is at Blackburn.
Yeah, this is at Blackburn. Sorry, I've gone back in time again.
That's okay.
But we're all waiting. just the character he is. So we're all waiting to be told if we're getting kept on or not. So we're all sat round on settees at the training ground, going in one by one. And you can imagine the tension of us all. So we're all sat there like this. And he walks in. And he walked in for lunch. And he used to just wear a vest. I don't know why. But he had this vest on. And he's walked in the training ground and he went, "Don't worry, lads. I got released from Man United. And look at me now. I'm a multi-millionaire." And it was just, little moments like that. And Rocky Santa Cruz signed, where did we got him from Bayern Munich. Yeah. And he walked in and he just shook his hand straight away. Never met him before. And he went, "Hi, Rocky, I'm Robbie Savage, still the highest paid player at the club." Just little things like that. And but they're innocent, aren't they? They're not, no one thinks, "Oh, you big time bugger" or whatever. It was just him. But yeah, good character.
Was it at Derby, because you'd been at Blackburn for so long and you'd come through the youth team, was it at Derby you felt like a proper footballer? Because you'd have gone in there where you'd been on loan, obviously, but that would have been one of the first times that you signed it. Well, it'd be the first time you signed a professional contract for somewhere you'd not been for a long time. Did that feel like, I'm a real footballer now?
I never ever really thought like I'm a real footballer. But I just wanted a home. I wanted roots and not to be going here every 6 months or 3 months or whatever it is. And it's a massive club, isn't it? Like, I think they get like average 25 plus a week. And then obviously I think it was Nigel's goalkeeping coach had been even like watching me while I was at Rochdale. So then loans to Rochdale. I went to Rochdale the second time, and Big Sam didn't want me to go, but I begged him to go.
Sam Allardyce was the manager at the time.
So the second time I went on loan to Rochdale, I was still at Blackburn, and like I was third choice at Blackburn, and they came in for me again, and I had to plead with him, let me go, just till the end of the season, just to get some football or whatever. So Martin Taylor was the goalie coach at Derby, and he was like, I just went there because I wanted to see what your attitude was like, because I knew like you'd done that before, and I just wanted to see how and little things like that. Obviously, I ended up going to Derby at the end. So everything I suppose happens for a reason, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that would have been with Nigel Clough at Derby.
Yeah, Nigel Clough. Yeah.
What was he like?
Unbelievable, tough love. Had some moments and seen some things that I thought, how can you say that or whatever? But like looking back now, like I wouldn't have had it any other way. I'm glad I've experienced it. Everything that he said to you was like coming from a good place. It might not have sounded it at the time, but everything that came from him was from a good place. I mean, the way that he just created like a culture and an environment like I've never seen before. I've seen it after that, but it was the first time that I actually, like probably you say, like I felt part of it. I wanted to feel part of something.
We will talk about your time at Stoke. I'm quite conscious we got quite far into the podcast. We haven't actually mentioned Stoke yet, but that will come.
Yeah.
I want to talk, I don't want to kind of skim over the fact that you represented your country as well at under 21 level.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably one of the things that kept me going in the result. I got offered another contract at Blackburn to stay there, and I was a bit in limbo at like 20 maybe. I think I'd just turned 20, 21. Been to Northampton, been to Rochdale.
You had Wycombe at this time as well. You played at Wycombe already.
Played at Wycombe already, yeah. And I was like a bit in limbo. And Blackburn, I remember actually speaking to Paul Robinson about it, because I was a bit in limbo. There was talk about me going to Derby to be the number 2 as a 20-year-old. And it never materialised. Then Blackburn offered me another contract, and it was a bit like, I'm a crossroads basically. You know what I mean? I don't even know what the question was.
England under 21s.
So basically, I'm playing reserve football, and it kept me going. So I knew every international break, I'm going to go play for the 21s or be involved, and them trips would keep me energised, if you will, giving me what I needed at the time. And that's when I thought, all right, I'll sign again for Blackburn, because I thought if I run my contract out, maybe I'm on a free. I've had a dabble at league football. Someone might take a chance on me, and I can find a more permanent home. But it ended up being actually a good decision, because the Derby county move ended up coming back, having to play for when I was playing for the under 21s. Without the under 21s, I wouldn't have moved to Derby.
And coming on for England for the first time came about because of an injury. Is that
right? Joe Lewis got injured after about 10 minutes, and I ended up I only met the night before the game, and they were already halfway through a camp. I had an FA Cup replay on the Monday for Northampton, which we got battered in, and then I had to get in a car with Fabian Delph, who was playing for Leeds, so we shared a car after the game because he'd been picked as well, and we both drove up to Sheffield.
Bramall Lane, wasn't it?
Bramall Lane, and both made our debut the next night.
A lot of people that listen to this will never represent their country playing international football. How conscious are you when you're coming on for that injury that this is like the pin? Realistically, there's only one other thing you could do that would be a greater achievement in your footballing career at the age of 20.
Never looked at it like that. It was just like the next thing. You know what I mean? I was obviously very proud. I got told on Monday after training that I would be going to play for. I'm going to be involved in the game. I didn't think I was going to come on or anything like that. Never even dreamt of coming on. You know what I mean? I don't know. Probably happened all too fast. But yeah, I was unbelievably proud. I was actually a bit annoyed. I played, and then within 2 days, the insurance company who insured my car sent me a letter saying your insurance is going up now because you played for England under 21s. So that's my vivid memory of that. So yeah, I was a bit annoyed with that. But obviously very proud that I still got the shirt on the wall. Like, I'll never lose that shirt. But yeah, just never. The whirlwind of probably playing, having the day off the next day, and then getting ready to play for Northampton at the weekend. So I didn't probably have enough time to think about it.
So it was when you left Derby.
Yep.
You went to Bristol City.
Yeah.
You weren't mad keen on going there in the first place.
No, not at all. Just got married that summer. Found out we were having our first child, me and my wife. Really settled in Derby. Holly was a school teacher in Nottingham. Yeah, didn't want to move. It's pretty simple. And then, weird things started happening where they were asking me to report at certain places at certain times during that summer in the off-season.
At Derby?
Yeah, got wind of the Bristol City move. They'd just been relegated from the Champ to League One. Probably my own cockiness and arrogance was probably thinking I was better than that. And then ended up moving because I thought it's going to be a bit uncomfortable staying.
When you say reporting, can you give us an idea?
So like the fitness coach would just say, like, turn up at Alistree Park at 1:30 on a Wednesday afternoon.
And for people that haven't played football, that's massively out of the ordinary, is it?
Yeah.
You know, at that point when things like that happen, your probably days are numbered.
Yeah. And the other people who were getting the same messages, yeah.
Yeah, okay. You just looked around and thought, we're probably...
There's like 3 of us there.
Okay.
Squad of 25.
Yeah.
But listen, it is what it is. Ended up going there and had, a good kick up the backside in the first 6 months. I was absolutely shocking for the 6 months. For the first 6 months, had a baby on the way. It was all coming too fast for me. Didn't want to be there. And ended up falling in love with the place.
It's a nice place, isn't it, Bristol?
Yeah, lovely.
Yes.
It couldn't have worked out any better. Like, some highs, some lows, some average moments, but yeah, overall an unbelievable experience.
Can we get to the good stuff?
Yes.
Can we talk about Holly?
Holly Fielding.
Your wife?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah. 2013, end of May 2013?
Yeah. How do you know this? This is unbelievable.
So,
if you found out stuff like this, who else can find out stuff like this?
Right, set the scene then, okay?
Yeah.
Where are you? Tell me the moment. This is where, right? Between me and you, this is where you get the brownie points, okay?
Moment what?
Where you get the brownie points.
Oh, sorry, right.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. So when we've done this in the past with people like Wouter Berger, Million Manhoof and stuff like that, they've not taken the bait. Do you know what I mean? This is now where you can say...
I already feel like you already know what this is because you've done your research.
This can be one of those things where you say, right, okay, our eyes met across the bar and I knew she was the one for me. But Frank, in your own words, tell me about the time you met your future wife.
Where I met her?
The full story. I'm giving you an opportunity. This is an open goal.
She would turn up on them days where, when we were, I was doing the 100 metre for Blackburn and Darwin, and she'd be there. And yeah, that's it really.
No, come on, Frank.
It was
So we've known each other for a very long time. Give me the full story. Tell her how you met in the first place. The full thing.
I used to see her in town when I probably shouldn't have been drinking as a 16, 17-year-old. Yeah, and
childhood sweethearts. That usually works if you throw that word in.
I wouldn't say that.
But just say it anyway.
Okay, yeah, childhood sweethearts, love at first sight. I don't know. Obviously liked her from when I saw her, and it just kind of rekindled when we got a little bit older.
Holly, if you are watching this, I tried everything. I did everything I could for that romantic moment, and he's let you down.
Yeah, I'm not the most romantic person.
Do you want to tell us about how you got engaged?
Yeah, in a casino in Derby.
Okay, should we skip that one?
Yeah, skip that bit.
But I didn't know anything that could save you. Any nice memories of when you first got together? Come on.
Any nice memories?
Any. You've got to have one moment.
I'm thinking here. I'm trying.
I thought this was about football, Rob.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Okay.
You've sidetracked
Okay.
it. No, I got 2 lovely children.
Yeah, should we talk about them?
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
2 girls?
2 girls.
Okay, 1 8.
One's nearly 8, one's nearly 11.
Okay. And are they giving you a headache?
Nah, they're amazing.
Okay. Did you always want girls?
Yes.
Why?
I just think they're going to look after me in all their life.
That's exactly the same reason I give to people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you got 2 girls? Or?
2 girls.
Have you? Yeah. Ages?
7 today.
Oh,
On the
amazing.
day of recording.
Oh, we need to finish quick then, don't you? So you can get
No,
home.
she's fine. She's okay. And 18 months.
Oh, so the sleepless nights or?
No. Well, not for me and my wife, mainly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
But how have having the children changed your life?
Oh, yeah. Unbelievably, aren't they? Just, I don't know, just a bit of, it's a piece of you, innit? They came to the game against Burnley on New Year's Day. I know you didn't want me to talk about dates and whatnot, did you? But they came to a game the other week and they're just fascinated by it. They loved it.
It must be nice knowing that they're watching you, especially against Burnley.
Yeah. They haven't been to too many games, but yeah.
They know that you're involved.
They ask about like numbers, so they'll be like, "What? Who's 37 and what's he like?" You know, like who's 22? You know, like, and like they'll go, "How's Edna doing?" With like Ender, but we call him Edna, and he hates it, and they even call him Edna. You know what I mean? So no, yeah, it's just brilliant.
We'll talk more about football. You seem more comfortable talking
Yeah,
about
I do, yeah.
that. When you went to Bristol, you said that was the most enjoyable time you've played football. The
Not initially, but
League One season, yeah.
Yeah, was won the league, won the paint trophy it was at the time at Wembley. Yeah, it was with an unbelievable set of lads.
What was it about the club that you liked so much then?
Just the togetherness, the socialising.
I've thrown you off now talking about your wife, haven't I?
Yeah, a little bit. It was just, I don't know. It's just one of them years that you fortunately you can have in your career where you just win every week. And we knew we were going to win every week, but like, not without sounding arrogant, but yeah, it was just enjoyable. Like, you know, like little moments where we're at Crawley, we're drawing 1-1, and Luke Ayling flicks one in from a corner, and you win in the 92nd minute. You just know it's your year, you know what I mean? Little things like that. It's hard to describe, but yeah.
I'm quite conscious not to just kind of, you had obviously many years at Bristol, not to just kind of boil it all down into 2 questions, but I do want to talk about Stoke.
Yeah, of course.
Before you came to Stoke, obviously you went to Millwall.
I did.
But that was when injuries kind of started, really.
Oh, yeah. Just non-stop, like getting going again, getting injured, 3 operations in 18, 19 months or whatever, constant drag of rehab. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
What were you like to be around? Because you moved your family back home at that point, hadn't you? You were going down to Millwall.
Yeah, I lived on my own. Obviously, made a decision after Bristol that kids were in an age group, you know, that they were starting school. The youngest one, nearly starting school. So I was just very conscious of them not going to a million different schools. Probably a little bit like what my dad did. You know, he worked away and probably had that a little bit in my mind. I just wanted their off the field, like I want off the field. They don't play football, do they? I wanted their like home life, you know, stable. Went there because I nearly went somewhere else before Millwall,
West Brom.
Nearly went to West Brom, and that didn't work out. And ended up going to Millwall and just got injured in the first game against Alex Neil's Preston side. Probably my worst injury to date, but. Yeah, and then come back from that, got injured again, then got injured again in Project Restart, and then you're just catching up, aren't you? It's hard to get up to speed, and then before you know it, the contract's finished.
I'm trying to get the idea of what you would have been like to be around at the time.
Sorry, yeah,
because
no,
not at all. It's because obviously you've had some good times. You left at Derby under terms that you didn't particularly want to leave. You were established. You went to Bristol. You had some good couple of years there. You had different options. You go to Millwall, but you go there as someone who likes being around people. That's a bubbly character. To go to Millwall, a new club, to get injured on your debut, knowing that your family's all that way away. Now I'm sure there's backwards and forwards in rehab. Yeah. But what were you like as a person when that was happening?
Not too bad. Try and separate the two, you know. Yeah. Try and separate the family life and the football life, the professional bit of your life. But you have to, because otherwise you go crazy, I think. But I wasn't too bad.
What would Holly say?
Holly, you'd be surprised. I was all right. In the end, I don't want to sound disrespectful to Millwall, I just wanted to go home. I had 2 years away from my family on and off. It was hard, but it was even harder because I wasn't playing football and being injured. And in the end, COVID came in, so all that stuff happened. Yeah, I just wanted to go home in the end, without sounding like a spoiled child. I just didn't have a good experience, but it is like, it's not supposed to be easy, is it? No.
You've said that football can just be constantly dealing with rejection.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Did I say that? Did I? Probably came out wrong. It's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Is it just because you never know once that contract's coming to an end whether you're kind of on vogue?
I think you go through like stages, like the contract finishing or whatever like that. Like that's hard. I think you go through like. I'm in a point now where I just get such a buzz off helping people because I've had the experience. Not that I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt kind of thing, but I've lived it. So I know that when you think that things are really, really bad, they're not that bad. I suppose that's the way I look at it. And it's got me to this point now. And I just get such a buzz off helping people now. Like, I can't tell you the feeling that when we win on a Saturday now, I've seen what goes into the week. Because when you're playing week in, week out, you're so single-minded, like you're tunnel vision, and rightfully so as well. I think you should be like that because the end goal at the end of the week is to get 3 points. But now, I'm looking at the bigger picture now, so I see what it takes from the manager to everyone at the training ground at Clayton Wood to the people at the stadium. Like, I see what it takes for us to get 3 points. I see, all the effort that goes into it, and I get such a buzz now of when we do, when we win. But I also trying not to get too high, but also try to see the other side of it, where when things aren't going that great, that they can quickly turn and they can get better.
The reason why I asked that question again is not to kind of dig up thoughts that I'm not trying to make people feel sorry for footballers in that constant rejection, but people who listen to this will be Stoke fans that have supported the club for years, and they will see people like yourself, people like Glenn Whelan who's behind you on there. They'll see the players, the current crop of players now, and they'll think that the footballer is their life, they've just got it made all the time. And what I wanted to do with this podcast in general is to show that people are real lads, but they go through difficult times, same as anyone listening to this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
without sounding too worthy.
No, there's different things that happen, don't they, that shape you, I suppose. But whatever you're doing, I feel like a philosopher. But whatever you do, gets you to that point. So you have to have that rejection, or just for this person, I don't want to say his name, but his person who plays for us. Someone in their family's been going, I'd have a million different interviews to get a job. So it's just, that's every day. We get interviewed every week, don't we, as footballers? But everyone has good and bad times, I suppose. And because you're a footballer, it doesn't mean it's all plain sailing.
So, the real reason why you're here.
Yes.
Stoke City Football Club.
Yes.
Tell me the story of how you first learnt of Stoke's interest and what it was like when you first turned up here.
So I got told in November, end of November 2022. Mr. David Rouse rang me and asked me would I come and train for a week. I had no club. I was training locally at Burnley, which was fantastic. They really looked after me. And I sped down the M6 and trained for a week, and that was in 22, and I'm still here.
What was your first impression?
Oh, I mean, I'd have ran there, you know what I mean? But first impression is unbelievable. Everything about it.
You walk into the training ground.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? What's going through your head? Because again,
I haven't been in a building like this for many years. That's what I'm thinking. But we're so grateful for everything that we've got.
Were you nervous when you first walked in? You don't have to say
I can't
yes.
remember, to be honest. can't really remember. Mr. Rouse, I can't keep calling him Mr. Rouse. David Rousey, or Rousey, we call him. He just, probably, as soon as you go outside and start training, everything goes out the window, doesn't it?
You are currently working with a goalkeeper who's doing all right, not too bad.
Yeah.
It might turn out to be a decent purchase in Viktor Johansson.
Yeah.
How good is he?
Very good. Yeah. Like, performances speak for itself, don't they? Yeah. And I see, obviously, like, I'm lucky enough to see, like, what goes into it. People might find that weird, but I see how hard he works as well. So, and he's getting the rewards.
How much has he improved in the time that he's been here? So we're recording this in January of 2025. So he's been here now for 6 months. How much has he improved in that time?
Yeah, I think in other aspects of his game, really. I always knew he could save a ball and catch a cross and stuff. But the other side of stuff, like, he's become our captain now because Gibbo's injured, and just seeing that other side to him now as well, which has been really good to see. Like, how he's, organising things, not necessarily on the pitch, but just probably more that leadership role that I'd see in him now.
What level do you think he can go to?
Yeah, I think, I don't want to, it's not for me to say, but I think he's got a very exciting future, yeah.
Are we talking Premier League? Are we talking Champions League? What are you thinking?
My opinion?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All the way, yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
When you watch him, who does he remind you of who you've played with?
No one really. It's quite different to what I've come across. Like, even the keepers that have been here previously while I've been here, he's a bit more athletic, a little bit smaller than a couple of lads that we've had, the last couple of loans that we've had. He's a taller version of me, in a sense that obviously he's not 6'4" or whatever, like Mark Travers or Daniel Iverson. But he's got really quick feet, and he's good at saving balls. Your
teammates have described you as, these aren't my words, so don't get annoyed with me, as hyperactive.
Okay.
Can you take me into a day in your life and what it's like in the changing room, and who are the people you gravitate to? There's 3 questions in one there, I appreciate, but...
I gravitate to most people. But, yeah, definitely formed a relationship with Ender. That's not replacing Holly. But, yeah, I've definitely got a friendship with Ender now. Obviously, my 2 goalkeepers, Vic and Jack, who I absolutely love. I like to keep my eye on the younger ones. Always make sure they're all right, because you literally go from academy football into men's football, and it's a big step, and not just football-wise, I mean all the other stuff that comes with it as well. So I like to keep my eye on them. I remember what that feeling was like. So I'm pointing more towards Emre, Sol, Lowy, but they've all got quite good heads on the shoulders.
Who's got the touch of a mischievous Frank Fielding in them?
Mischievous?
Yeah, well, you're quite, I would say, from what people have told me, you are a larger-than-life character.
Rosie can be quite mischievous.
Okay.
Bergs.
Can he?
Yeah.
In what way? Can you give us some examples that we could talk about on the podcast that's not going to get you in trouble or me fired?
No, like, obviously we have a fine system and whatnot.
Which we'll come on to in a second.
Well, and any social media cringe posts, they'll get a picture be taken, or it could be a picture with your missus or whatever, and then we'll all have to vote. It'll get put on the screen, and then we'll all have to vote. So them 2 are quite active on that. So they send them to me, them pictures. So they'll be quite active on that.
They're little grasses, are they?
Yeah, but it's full disclosure, so it's confidential.
Until now.
Until now. Them 2 are quite active lads.
So a day in your life then would be turn up at the training ground. Let's say it's a random Tuesday.
Yeah.
Turn up at the training ground. You go in.
Yeah.
I'm conscious that people listening to this won't have the experience that you've got. What is life like for you?
We'll turn up, get changed, have breakfast, maybe have a game of pool or two, go downstairs, go into the gym. Oh no, we could have a meeting before that. Then we'll go and do pre-activation in the gym. Then we'll go outside. Then we'll come in. Then we'll do gym. Then we'll do lunch. And then, recovery, ice baths and whatnot. And then, that's a normal day, really.
You're on your way. You mentioned the fines.
Yes.
Can you tell me what it is? I've heard that they're legendary.
The fines?
This fine system and what happens on it. Is it Friday morning?
Yeah, not every Friday morning.
Not every Friday, okay.
Yeah.
Take me through the full shebang.
So, Fridays can consist of like pictures that people have sent to my phone, which we'll put on the TV in
so
the changing
definitely
room.
not Michael Rose or Wouterberg have sent you those, because it's all confidential.
They're very confidential, but yeah, them two have been active lads. Anyway, there's other people as well, but there were just two that sprung to mind. Maybe because they're the last two people who sent me a picture, I don't know. But the room's very active and that's very good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll have pictures on. We'll vote for 3 members of the jury, which is like voted out of a hat. Mm-hmm. Well, a tub that I found in the training ground with everyone's squad number in. So your number gets pulled out. Then you'll be the jury members. We did have the chef involved, but he caused absolute carnage. He's not known as the chef anymore. He's known as the judge, but he caused carnage. But I won't go into too many details like that. Then these 3 jury members will have to have the yes or no on the pictures, if they cringe or not. Could be items of stuff that's left around the training ground, but mostly social media cringe posts. Okay. Yeah. There's other fines in that as well.
I feel that you're leaving out a certain aspect of this story, because I'm told about a
wheel.
Yeah, I'm told about a karaoke machine.
I
feel that you're not quite giving me the full story, Frank.
When someone has to spin, so we have anything under a certain amount, you'll have to spin.
So right, whoa. Anything under a certain amount. So you're saying, right, let's say
there's a certain amount that we have on the fine list.
Yeah, so cash-wise,
sorry, and then you have to spin that. Anything above it, you don't spin the wheel.
So let me just put this into context then. So 3 random members of the squad are the jury. So let's say Ben Gibson, Wouterberger, and
John.
Anyone. Yeah. Those 3 sat there. You've got someone else who sat there, and then you're on a microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've done karaoke at this point, or?
No. Well, yeah,
singing?
maybe. Yeah. You might have seen me on that marina in Portugal at some point.
Okay.
If you've been lucky enough.
And then it comes up on a big screen, and then if 2 of the people vote that it is cringe, that person is fined. So the person who put the picture up. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And then other fines include leaving items around the training ground. What other things are on the fine list? Is it flip-flops in showers?
Yeah, all that
stuff?
jazz, yeah.
Go on, give me some stuff.
Oh, God, you put me on the spot now. What have we got on there? Like leaving a bottle at breakfast, so like a water bottle could be left at breakfast, and then... But that could be a court case.
Oh, right, okay.
Whoa.
Right, I feel like I need to get comfortable with this.
Your bottle,
right, okay.
You know what I mean? But someone's seen you with that bottle.
Okay.
So then it'll just cause carnage, which we enjoy.
And then the court case, talk me through the court case.
So
I feel like I feel like all this podcast, you've given me a lot, whereas I feel like you're holding back a little bit.
No,
here.
I'm not holding back. I'm telling you everything that you're asking. Basically, I don't know, your jumper might have got left. We had a player who left his jumper out not so long ago, and he thought that he was in the right because he asked the kit man to fetch it in, and we disagreed. And then the jury members, I think they found him guilty, and it caused carnage, yeah.
What's carnage?
Just like he thought, like half the room thought he was guilty, and no, I'd say 99% of the room thought he was guilty, but it's just mad how someone thinks that you can leave a jumper outside and ask the kit men to fetch it in, and then...
It's not your problem.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just... Yeah, little things like that.
Not here at Stoke. We've not got long left. We've got a few other things to talk about, but not here at Stoke. Has anyone ever properly kicked off when they've been the wrong end of a jury? Like other clubs.
Oh,
have
like
you ever
a
seen?
different,
Yeah. I don't want you to dig out anyone here, but has anyone like at a former club gone like, I'm not having that, and like really stormed off or anything?
Yeah.
Can you tell us any of those stories?
No.
Not really. Okay. This smile tells me you got a great story though.
I have, yeah.
Okay. After the podcast?
Yeah, I can tell you after,
Podcast extra?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to talk briefly about your time at Stoke and how you've seen it so far. I suppose it's for you, it's just a case of now trying to make sure that people are better from what you've been saying.
Yeah. I just obviously part of the goalkeeping group that we've got. And like I said before, I've mentioned it before, but like when we win on a Saturday, or Vic plays well, or Jack plays well on a Saturday, like I take that personally. So I see that as a reflection on the group of the work that we do. Don't get me wrong, it's a team game, obviously, of all of it, but specifically, like the goalkeeping aspects of it, I take, personally and see the work that goes into getting them performances and getting us a win, hopefully.
What's next when you finish football?
Coaching.
Do you think?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, just to give a little bit back to all them decent people. Don't get me wrong, I've had some not so decent people, but all the decent people that have helped me on the way, I'd like to start helping people, yeah.
Any regrets?
Ooh, how long have you got? No regrets, because I think if you think like that, I'm very fortunate and grateful for what I've had, where I am now, and what the future holds, I suppose. A bit cheesy, but no. You
described your career as bang average.
Yeah, because I wasn't supposed to do anything.
Yeah.
No one gave me a chance. That's that 16, getting... none of them academy, not in a horrible way,
no.
just didn't give me a chance. And I'm not going to sit back here and reflect on he was horrible, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like I made the most of what I had. You know what I mean? And I've forged a career out of it.
Because I feel like we've got on so well, I'm going to give you the respect of letting you choose how this ends, right?
Okay.
So we've got a serious end to the podcast, which is quite deep and meaningful, or we've got a fun end to the podcast. Fun. Do you want to think about it?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Right, so this is a little game called Love It or Leave It, where what happens is I give you a series of topics, and you tell me love it or leave it. It's quite simple.
Go like that as well?
You can do. It's up to you. Maybe you can add a bit of a spin on it. You add a bit of a spin to it. Okay. So it's either, yes, Rob, completely love that, I'm all over it, or no, Rob. You can't sit on the fence. You've got to give me an answer. You can explain why you got to the answer, but it's love it or leave it. Okay. That is the game, okay? The first one I'm going to give you is karaoke. Love it or leave it?
Love it.
Talk me through it.
I like karaoke.
Yeah. Can you tell me about any fantastic... I imagine you call them performances rather than just having a go.
What do you mean?
Any that you've done? Any bit of memorable performances?
like I mentioned before, I can be seen on... I haven't been there for a few years, but the marina in Portugal, a certain marina has a bar that has a karaoke. I like that place.
Any go-to songs?
Buffalo Soldier.
Okay. Do you want
Marley?
Do you want to give us a bit now?
After.
After. Okay. So love it.
Love it.
Okay. The next one is, and again, this is something that, because we are recording this in January 2025, this is something that I would say is I don't want to say pandemic, and I don't want to say like a big thing, but it's definitely a cultural moment, which is very of the moment.
Okay.
So I appreciate that in 2 years' time, people will be going, oh, do you remember that? Do you remember like when the Ice Bucket Challenge was?
Yeah.
So I think the version of that for now
is
splitting the G.
No idea what that is.
Fantastic. So splitting the G is when you drink a certain pint of
Guinness.
Other brands are, of course, available, but you drink it down to a certain level so that you split the G in one mouthful. So you've never heard of that or never experienced it?
Now you've said it, yeah.
Okay. Too broad for love it or leave it? Do you want me to move on to something
love a
different?
Guinness.
Okay. So the idea of splitting the G, love it or leave it?
I would say leave it. Why rush it? Good things come to those who wait.
Exactly. And the final one? This is the one that people will judge you on, okay? So do not rush this. You've already completely mucked up with your wife.
Okay.
She's probably not even got this far. Your kids are just about listening to you.
She knows what I'm like.
She knows. So this is the point where people will go, do you know what? That Frankie Fielding, top lad. Or other people might go, for the last hour or so, these 2 podcasts, I've really felt like I know him. I feel like I've heard his story. But now you could ruin it for this.
Touched a nerve.
Yeah. So take your time on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Pineapple on pizzas.
There's only one thing that should be on a pizza, and it's not pineapple. Leave it. You ask that question to everyone?
Everyone. I can't wait to ask it to John Coates.
Yeah, I bet.
He's going to be like, Rob, I'm not sure that's going to go.
I'll tune in for that answer.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much. So that was our interview with Frank Fielding, the Stoke City goalkeeper. As always, the best thing to do once you watch this is to click subscribe on the Stoke City YouTube channel. Then, the second anything comes out of the Bet365 Stadium, you will know about it first. Thanks for watching.
Potters Pod, the official Stoke City podcast.